show that starts with a simple premise and explores how different people view different subjects. The greatest philosophies, the most revolutionary changes, and the greatest inventions. And all of them started with just a thought.
Hello, hello, hello.
What it do, good people? Happy Sunday, December 28th. Hopefully the holidays, however you celebrate it, was pretty good. Good evening, HBAC, for joining us today. Um, for those who are joining us, you know what it is. We're here from the 202 all the way to the 810. Just to see if we can make some connections on what the experiences are, and we want to let people know what's happening in the DC area. And I won't be before y'all long. We're gonna go ahead and get to it with honor.
I don't know what to say. Aren't you starting?
Oh, I mean, I guess I can start because after a while, it goes
Because my computer is acting up, and I'm gonna end up having to go on my phone.
Yeah, same here. What's up, Felicia Martinez? Thank you for joining us and bearing with us on this good Sunday. You know, we can't get right at the end of the year. Let me speak from I. I ain't gonna speak for on. I'm gonna speak for self. I can't get right. So if you see us jump off the screen between the two of us, it's because we trying to get our life together tonight. But we are so happy to be here. What's up, Hope Beasley? Thank you for joining us on this good evening of Just a Thought. I just wanted to come through real quick as Honor joint enlightens us tonight in some deep conversation about this 202 area here. If you did not get an opportunity to see Brother Elliot and Mick's show this morning, I implore you to please hit the replay, gang, and make sure you hit the like button while you're there. But Brother Elliot throughout this film today that I couldn't help myself. I was so excited to see it, or so I thought. It's called Goodbye Uncle Tom. You can see it on YouTube. Don't even spend your $4.99 on Prime because Jeff Bezos don't deserve those bucks for what I watched. I'd say it was more traumatizing to me than Roots, but still just as necessary and for us to see to give us a reminder on how we can strive and to be accountable of being better than the conditions that they tried to put us in. So let's see. Okay, we got I ain't going nowhere. What's up? What's happening? Thank you for joining us in the chat on this good Sunday. And then we got Marcia A. Talbert. Thank you so much for joining us, Marcia. Let's see what's going to happen with that East Wing debacle. It seems like it will never be restored or replaced. Marcia, we got so many things happening in DC out here. Stay on the swivel. So I don't know if Anna got a couple of thoughts towards that, but I'm gonna go run and see if I can find my charger. And I'm gonna return it over to Miss Anna herself so she can talk to the chat. What's up, Luana? Sorry, thank you for joining us tonight.
How y'all doing? Sorry I missed y'all last week. I literally had foot surgery. So I was not feeling. I still have a boot on my foot. So internet issues going on in my house. I have a historical house that I stay in. And so the internet be acting up. Sometimes I be talking and it seems like the screen disappears. So if I disappear from the screen, I'm going to have to use my phone. They always say shut your camera off and your internet will work better. But happy holidays, happy third day of Kwanzaa. We passed Christmas, we passed Hanukkah. Now we're on the third day of Kwanzaa and of course the new year. So that I guess the next time we talk to you, the new year will have come. So this will be official, the last Just a Thought of 2025. We're still putting things together. We're still learning. I'm still learning a lot of things that going through living here in the nation's capital. I was just watching a video earlier and just continuously just researching, listening, and trying not so hard to be such a judgmental, pointing person on things that I disagree with. I was listening to Brother Elliot last week. I think it was before Christmas. He did the show on Tuesday. It was very, very eye opener. Y'all need to log on and or go back, rewind, and listen to Brother Elliot the week before. It was some very interesting conversation that he was having, really deep, and I love deep conversation. But as this time goes by, a lot of things that are going on, and especially in our nation's capital, as you can see, I mean, we're DC's on display every single day. Things are going on. And like I said, I lived in less than a couple blocks away from the Capitol, 4 to 5 blocks in the direction of wherever from my house to the White House. So the news is always up. This weekend, I drove past, I think it's called Farragut. Is it Farragut West Metro? That is where the two National Guards that were shot down, and I saw their memorial. I went over there because my daughter, for Christmas, her friend came from Canada. So I went ahead and got her a hotel room. It's literally right next to the White House where the two National Guards were shot down. So that was an eye opener. I rode through there, got out my vehicle, parked while I dropped my daughter off to go to the hotel, and took pictures of that. And that was an eye opener. And there's a conspiracy even with that conversation about those National Guards. And it's real hard. And so people, like when we're researching and doing things, we have to be careful who's giving us information. It's questionable. So I always try to say allegedly. I understand, but I'm trying to, in 2026, I'm trying to get away from the conversation of assumptions and more into truth, which God always says in his word that if you expose the lie, the truth is always there. So sometimes you have to talk about the things that are uncomfortable, that are lies to us. And so go ahead, Yogi G.
Oh, no, I thought that you want to introduce a video that you have been watching. But I
thought you were gonna go. Oh, go ahead.
Just go ahead and shout out that Marcia just put something in the chat. Says researching and comprehending are key to really know what is going on. Find out for yourselves. I may try to go to DC this spring while we're still free. I want to retrace the Chocolate City tour. So good luck with that.
What is the Chocolate City tour?
Yeah, we need to know more about that, Marcia, because we don't know what. I don't know what Chocolate City tour is. Maybe it's something that's new. Maybe it's something that we need to get hip with. So.
Unless she's saying like to go over the history, because okay, did you see Dave Chappelle's comedy? Did you see it, Yogi?
Oh, for sure. I caught that thing.
And just the fact that she said Chocolate City, I never forget when he said out of his mouth in his comedy skit, he said, "They trying to take the chocolate out of Chocolate City," and then he says, "I pull up in DC," and he said it's all gone because all the white people were protesting. So DC is hilarious because when you think of historically, when you think of DC was Chocolate City, but right now with our numbers, what we at 30% chocolate, 15% other, and
Probably
then over 60% white. So the Chocolate City has changed. It's chocolate. I call it chocolate swirl now. But the history of DC will never change, and no matter how much the community changes, and I just think with every administration, you could disagree to agree. I think that every time an administration comes, if we have a Democrat in office, our city stays predominantly, I think, more black. But whenever we get a Republican in our community starts to change. You start to see a lot of people move into this area. So we'll see now, since our housing went down by 20%, we'll see now what's going to happen when Agent Orange gets out, because he's not going to be here. So we'll see what's going to happen. Are all these people going to flee and go back to Idaho and to Iowa and to Kansas and to wherever they came from, Mississippi, wherever they came from? Because I know they're not from here, and I know they're not going to stay here. Did you want to put your you want
I
to
was
talk about
reading.
what Brother Elliot was talking about?
Oh, I gave my quick synopsis. It 8 out of 10. Highly recommend to follow up on the receipts that Brother Elliot always provides us on a good Tuesday or Sunday. And I took the time to take him up on his offer to just to educate, further educate myself and give it a visual. And boy, is it a visual. I haven't even got halfway through it. I don't know if the chat has, if you heard what my brother Elliot had put up this morning. Once again, the video is called "Goodbye, Uncle Tom," and yeah,
Did you want me to look it up,
what "Goodbye, Uncle Tom"?
or is that
Oh
something they need to watch on
no,
their own?
no! You need to watch that on your own. I don't. Mickey will. This will be our last show if we put that up.
Oh,
No,
it's not good.
it's intense. It's like Roots without the barriers of NBC.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
I'm always looking at videos, always looking for historical content. Oh, go ahead, read that, Yogi, because I cannot see.
It says researching and comprehend. Oh, we read that one. So Marcia said I went on one in 2012. It was awesome. I'll connect the guy who directed it then. We went to Arlington and saw the slave sales site under whether the NAACP or Urban League building. Okay. She said he doesn't tour anymore, but thank God for a photographic memory. The history was truly awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The, is she talking about the Urban League building, like the one that's on 14th Street? I wonder if she's talking about that.
My kid got to give
That's
us
a
that.
historical
And I'll be
building
honest,
here.
in 2012, I was still a bit of a kid in the mind. I was in my 20s, running free.
I was a full-fledged mother.
Here in
um,
these streets. Yeah.
she says, I get Brother Elliot. The research is what helps me make sense of the term. Yes. So, I'm always like looking up stuff. Um, Let me ask you this, Yogi G, real quick. Any books uh, recently you have looked at that you kind of like started reading on you would like to share for them to look at before
Um,
because
let's
books
see.
are on sale, people, literally.
If people are interested in what I'm reading as of late, it's a book. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Revolutionary Nonviolence, Organizing for Freedom. Is written by James M. Lawson Jr., who worked alongside with strategizing with Martin Luther King, and it's educating me as an organizer about why they made the choice to use nonviolence as a staple in their organizing. And I was just recently gifted Black AF. So the history book. So I have been kind of diving in and out of that. So those are my two reads. Oh, and then I'm reading on the audio because this is just how my mind works. Believe me, believe it or not. But on audiobook, I just downloaded Marshall Gaines' People Power. I can't remember the title, but it's a book about Marshall Gaines on organizing. So those are the three books that I'll be powering through back and forth. That's how my ADD works. What about you? You on mute?
I said I got to give you the book that I've been reading. Ancestors. What would the ancestors say? I've been reading that book, and with me, I'm more of a audible person when I get in my car because when I have a lot of books. This is another book I've been reading. This actually is an author right here in D. Well, he's not from DC. It's called Black Power Scorecard by Andre Perry. I met him in person. This right here is called Measuring the Racial Gap and What We Do to Close It. And he talks a lot about DC, how DC has money and how people here can make money, but it's a racial divide. So it kind of like guides you into the real conversation of how to build money right here in our nation's capital and the worth of living here. But usually that comes different when you come into the city and you ain't been here for as long as I've been here or born and raised here. So you'll have a different kind of perspective of it. But anyway, I pulled up this video from 1980. Right. Well, there's always somebody out somewhere making a short because people are known for making short. Take someone's clip, chop it up, and throw it up. And I was like, hold up, I need to find the original video of this because the person that chopped it up is actually some guy all the way in Africa. He literally took a clip from something that was here in DC back in 1980 and chopped it up, and then it got like a whole bunch of views, but he didn't like go back to to really sum up what the person was saying. So I researched, I found the video, and it was real interesting. Yogi, do you want to read what they're saying? I'll keep going. I do got that book, Black as Fuck. Oh, Black F AF. I'm about to say the darn word. Jesus help me. Marcia, I got that book in my car in Audible. I have finished the book. That's a great book. Go ahead.
So Marcia says Black AF is on my table to read next. I'm trying to get through the 1619 project. Good luck, Marcia. That is a tough read that you can power through because I did it too. Which I finally started after the Eaton fire in Altadena. Okay, reading is hard. I got a DCPS education. I have downtime. Yeah, Marcia, listen, we're going to have to start a book club along with Brother Elliot. If you get through the 1619 project, do yourself a favor and catch the Hulu docuseries too. It's a blessing to the reading. Top of the evening to you as well, Georgia Boy. Thank you for joining us this good evening on this Sunday, this Chitlin Circus Sunday. Denise Cosons, listen, charge to my head, not my heart, and my DCPS education. She says, when I was on the Women's Coalition at UAW 599, I was one of two women from our local to get to go to the women's conference at Black Lake. Rosa Parks was the honored speaker. It was life changing. That sounds pretty dope. Let me know, chat, if I might be entering into a couple conversations that had nothing to do with me, but we just try to make sure we honor everybody in the chat.
Yeah, I just, I always like to go back. I can't see. That's why I'm always asking Yogi G but out of respect, the fact that you come on here, try to be as interactive as we can, but you taking your time to listen to two people from DC when you could be doing something totally different. So we appreciate it. When you get on the chat, I don't even care if you change the subject from what we're talking about, because it might be something you want to ask. So we are willing to derail from what we're saying and answer you and go back to our conversation. So just know that this is supposed to be an interactive, just a thought conversation. So fast forward, I put this video up, and I'm gonna play this clip. I gotta put it up. I'm gonna play this clip of the lady. And this is one portion, but it's like different portions. But there's a guy. He used to be under Ronald Reagan. He was a Secretary of Education, but then under Bush, he was the person that was over drugs and policy and all of that good stuff. And his name is William Bennett. William Bennett used to be a Democrat, then became a Republican, then went back as a Democrat. Make a long story, he's a Republican again. But in this thing, it was called a town hall in DC, and it was called DC Divided. I didn't like the title. Ted Koppel was the person that put this conversation together, and you can see that the same things that were happening back then are happening now. But anyway, William Bennett is like really young in here. Right now, that man's like 80-something years old. He's a commentator on the Republican side, always talking about Charlie Kirk, saying crazy things. 80-something years old. But even back then, he's in a room talking, and you could hear it. I just want to put just one portion. We'll talk about it, go to another portion. But it was just his views on what DC needed back then. And it sounds similar, exactly the way they're saying it now. So give me a second. Yogi, you can go ahead, and I'm going to try to put this video up.
All right. Yeah, man. Marcia, man, we appreciate you. I feel the same way. That's why I'm here. I come to 18, listening to what's happening at Flint is definitely informative, especially once again as being an organizer. So I often tell the story of what's happening And I work alongside other people to see if we can brainstorm and have some conversations with Brother Elliot and mix sometimes, to see how we can help empower the people down there without getting thrown into jail, of course. I'm not that kind of gal. But okay, you got to cue that.
So this, I don't think they can see my cursor, right? No. So
No.
the guy sitting further up that with his back to us, that's Ted Koppel. And then the three guys are in the front are the guy to the far left with the red tie, with the far left, that is William Bennett. And then sorry, I'm having a senior moment. The other two guys are very key roles, but I just want to play this part and then go in just to let you hear some things that are still going on today. And this is in 1980, literally in DC. Everyone who was somebody in DC back then, anyone who was someone with federal government is in this room, even down to Coach Thomas from Georgetown is in this room. Actually, Muhammad from the nation's capital is in this video too. It's a lot of key players in this video. Give me 1 second. Press play.
Something, it sends a message to the rest of the country. Give us sort of a checklist, 3 or 4 things. I know you have presented a program a couple of weeks ago. Any refinements on that?
Well, let me talk about a checklist, I think, for the country. I think there are several things we need to do, a lot of things we need to do. First of all, we need to look at the supply. We need to have a tougher, clearer, better coordinated policy that cuts the supply and that makes the suppliers of cocaine into this country pay a price. Second, law enforcement. I'll say it loud and clear. We need more law enforcement. We need more prisons. We need more prosecutors. We need more judges. We got to get the bad guys off the street so the community can breathe, so people can come out and reclaim their streets and neighborhoods. We need the family. We need the church, and we need the school. Is to send a clear and unambiguous message. And one point that I would make is I thought the hour was dead in many ways, but I thought it was a little too gloomy in terms of Washington. Most people in Washington do not take drugs. Most black people in Washington do not take drugs. The first person, citizen of Washington, other than the dealers and the family of the dealers you chose, or whoever produced the show chose to represent, was somebody, a woman doing tricks twice a day, a citizen of Washington. Most Washington women don't do tricks.
No.
That is not.
Well,
let me just finish.
I'll tell you what, Mr.
Let me finish. Come on, Ted. You had an hour. Let me just finish. I only have a few minutes.
I just want to make one point, and then believe me, I will let you come back.
Okay.
We're not representing a profile of the city of Washington. We are representing a profile of drug violence in the city of Washington. So now, please go ahead.
I think the phrase was, for people not involved, they have to find a way to cope. Yes, there are some people who cope by turning to illegality, by turning to prostitution. But most citizens of the city of Washington do it the legal way. They hold their jobs, they go to church, they pay their taxes, and they try to hold on to their communities. And we have got to encourage and support them, let them know we know they're there, and get behind them, because that's the key to success of this problem. No, I think I got the point. No, I got the point.
Can you hear me? So that's just one part of it. What did you hear, Yogi G, when you was listening to him?
I think I'm hearing them setting the stage of a narrative that DC has this underbelly of crime and prostitution. And then the gentleman that you described, I think with the red tie, if I remember correctly, was sort of defending that, DC is not this crime-ridden space that the documentary or whatever the news broadcast was trying to depict. I think that's what I'm hearing.
So William Bennett, who is, give me 1 second, so I don't say it wrong. William Bennett pretty much was in charge of drug policy. But if you hear in the beginning, when he says we need more police, we need more prosecutors, and we need more prisons. Those are the three things that are going literally what was going on in DC right now. That is the stage conversation. But when you're in a room with predominantly black people, you have to be careful that when you say this, then you have to play the safe card. And so what William Bennett did was expose what he thinks is going to help the community, but not expose the truth of what's happening to the community. That's one part of it. Of course, you got to watch the thing. I'm going to bring you in further in so you can get that part. But what he staged, and this is just a thought, what he staged in the beginning was that we needed more people to be locked up and we needed more prisons. And in DC, because we're not a state, our guys in DC, our girls in DC, where do they go to? They go through everywhere. Through the whole entire United States. It's no more Lorton. Back then there was Lorton in Virginia. That doesn't exist anymore. So family members who, which the rate of people getting incarcerated now is even more ridiculous than before. But he starts off with this is how you fix the problem. But he doesn't go into how did the problem come about. His idea is do these excessive, extreme things. And then he goes to defend Black people in the room because he knows he's going to be eaten alive by certain people in the room. So he has to play it safe when he's talking because he's literally in a room. And you'll start to see when I put over to see the people that are in the room. Like you already saw Marion Barry was in the room.
I was going to say, I already saw the posture of Marion Barry in the room. When he sat up and he gave a cough like he was ready to rock because, to Marcia's point in the chat, she said, I just watched the clip and I saw the same clip, Marcia, just so you know we are unison in mind. She said, I just watched the clip Johnny Carson did with Richard Pryor when he checked a white lady about saying nobody goes hungry in the U.S., nobody lives in the streets, and he was like, we'll tell them. Exactly. What's up, Shawty? Thanks for joining us in the chat. And Beverly Biggs, thank you. Miss Beverly Biggs, and put some respect on your name, madam. Good afternoon to you as well. So same theory. Like, people can tell you what they think are solutions for your community, but have never lived it, have never walked in it, and don't really believe that the true voice of the community can lead to the way of us feeling good about the things that are being put in our city. So hit it, Anna. Can you hear me, Anna? I don't know if Anna lost me.
I don't know if you can see me, but I was trying to go back in the screen so I can put it back up. Sorry. So what I'm going to do is go back to the stage, and I'm going to let you hear what Marion Barry has to say. Give me 1 second.
Word, I'm excited. And for y'all who don't know, this is the infamous Marion Barry who we rise or dies for his legacy. So don't be coming through DC trying to trash his name. We could talk about him, but you can't talk about him because he did kick the ball off like it was power. So
They're replaced by young recruits, younger and younger and younger. So it seems to me as a national policy, we got to get tough. And I heard President Bush today talk about that. Got to be demand reduction to zero in America and supply reduction to zero in South and Central America. And I think the national government has responsibility to protect our borders, has responsibility to go to South and Central America and work with those countries down there. And I hope before we over, Ted...
You've called for more than that, Mr. Mayor. I mean, I remember on David Brinkley's show, you called for some kind of military action against
I'm refining my thinking about this as I learn more about it. I'm a quick study. But one thing we do have to do, though, is have a foreign policy which says that we ought to do debt reduction for those countries in South and Central America who are strapped for cash, using this cash crowd, farmer re-education and alternation, and also military help if those nations need it. In Colombia, the government of Colombia is weaker than the drug lords down there. And I think the national government has a responsibility to try to stop that 300,000 pounds of cocaine that comes into Washington and the rest of America, as well as those of us in America trying to do demand reduction and drug-free zones. I've not heard enough talk about it.
Mr. Mayor, forgive me because we will have plenty of time. I do want to take advantage.
Can you hear me? What did you hear Marion Barry say?
What I think I heard in chat, y'all hold me down if my hearing is a little off. I told you I got DCPS education, so I'm processing maybe a little slow. But what I think I heard our former mayor, Marion Barry, say is that if you're going to really fix the issue that you're saying about cocaine coming into the city, then why not go and do your job as the government and attack the source, not the people that are being impacted by the addiction that comes along with the opportunity for money and being flooded with cocaine, but go after the people who giving you the supply, the supplier, not the supplyee, if that's a word. I don't know. Is that what I thought I heard?
Yeah, so the solution from William Bennett is lock people up, prosecutors, more prisons. What Marion Barry goes to is the root of it. You have people that have poverty in these countries. They have the cocoa leaf. They're able to grow these drugs. They're not the ones that bring it in here because, as you know, you're going to hear further down. No one has planes. No one has boats. But Marion Barry basically says the government can't even stop the drugs from coming in. So if the federal government is not even doing their job to control the borders, to control it before it comes in, then the real issue is who's making a deal. Is it the community people need to be, sanctioned, or is it the people that are in these positions? Are they making deals? Because, like, how do you explain planes dropping drugs in communities? How do you explain it coming in when they have total control of where America sends money to and where America gets their trade? They're pretty much passing back and forth. So that's just a little thought of when Marion Barry says that. He's basically trying to say, look, it's deeper than that. It's not go after the small people, not go after the drug addict, because you'll hear, if you look up William Bennett has a history from that's him way young, from always where he stood on I don't blame the people when he talks, but you'll hear him say what he really believes. And those are the type of people that we had now currently in position for years. We heard a little bit how they felt, but they lied to us. And now we're with a government that is boldly to say, like you just heard the other day, I know you heard it when, sorry, Cosmo's trying to get up on my computer. You heard the other day when J.D. Vance said, white people no longer have to apologize. And I bust out laughing when he said that, because I said, who said they had to apologize? No one ever even put that on them. The thing is like, that's a whole nother conversation. It's a thing of saying, you're shameful. That's your issue. How you look at things, that's your issue. That's an I issue. That is not a thing to put on people of color. But this is how it was talked back then and how it is talked now. So that part, I'm going to fast forward so you can hear this other part. Hey, Shard. And if you want, you could go into the chat, because I know other people wrote anything, Yogi G, so I can put this other part.
Bird. So, Chris Caleb, I just want to say thank you for joining the 810 News Media Group tonight. Unfortunately, this is not the show with Winters on it. You can check out Winters on Monday through Friday from 6:30ish, maybe a little later than that, on down to maybe 8. Her and Mick will give you the news that you can use from Flint all around the world. So if you wanted to check them out, we're happy you gave us a try. Marcia Talbert, she says, I'm not sure how Ted Koppel was playing. He brings out his simple point and then tries to play devil's advocate. That was his style of journalism. Watch this interview with MLK about equality of bootstraps. Yeah, definitely. Oops, my bad. It was with Sonder Van Cure. I think I'm saying that correctly, Marcia. Or maybe not, help me enunciate. But that's what's happening in the chat. Make sure, if you guys have not already, we would appreciate the support and with you hitting the like button and sharing. And, we're giving a perspective from the 202. And if you're not familiar with the numbers, let me give it to you in the letters. That is Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. And while we are not Flint, Michigan, we are united in the same journey of being, manipulated by some people that may or may not look like us. And we want to make sure that everybody is getting what they need in order to see, what we're seeing, or maybe give us a different kind of view so that we can figure out how we make sure that everybody is getting what they need to take care of the people that they love and just, survive out in these streets. Not even survive, just thrive. But Anna has put up the video for us, and so we're gonna get back to it.
Okay, so this portion is something that we do, Yogi G. We are advocates for education. This lady right here is actually a principal. I forgot what school was it, Hines? One of them schools. She's a principal. But what she talks about back in 1980 is still the same thing that we're fighting today. And her response is basically to how to answer. If you look in the video, you see everybody's really paying attention to her. So I'm gonna put what she says. And it gave me tears because it's like, gosh, here we are in 2025. And this lady is basically saying what we need. And this is in 1980. But the whole focus on how to fix things is lock people up. So let me play so you can hear her say what she says.
Principal of Hines Junior High School, and I've still got a lot of faith in these young people. And I'm hearing too much about the young people who are destroying this city, but you're not talking about my kid.
No, you got it backwards.
Who is suffering from the pressure.
You've got it backwards. Let me at least get straight what it is I'm saying. I'm talking about the youngsters who are being destroyed, not the young people who are destroying the city.
The you that I used was not directed to you. I'm talking about a city. I'm tired, Ted. I'm working day and night to try to give my children some hope, but they're dying from so much pressure that we're getting, and we're not having enough to do the things within the school where I'm working on all over the country with education. I need some money. Okay. Now, let me say to you, I don't want to use this as a place to air the feelings of a system, but I'm talking about using correctly time for my young people, to develop them, to give them some chances. We're talking about sending them to the various institutions for help. Bring those institutions into my school. Bring me the psychologist. Bring me the physiologist. Bring me the instruments that I need, and I can prove to you, Ted, some of these meetings will not be necessary. Give me the energy with which to fight, and I most certainly can prove to you that we will have a future. There will be a generation.
You certainly seem to have the energy. It's the money. I think you're asking for. I don't have any money.
That's it.
You hear that? I don't have the money. But do you hear what she says we need in the school?
First of all, the smile that came across my face was because that woman right there, as soon as her voice hit the mic before they even put her name on the screen, I knew instantly who that was. That is Princess Whitfield, who was the former principal, God rest her soul, of Hines Junior High School. And when I tell you that woman fought for us each and every day, even my generation into the 90s coming into Hines Junior High School, every person was on the same page about the expectation of excellence that we were supposed to show as Black students. The name of our junior high school, we were in the middle of Capitol Hill, and they just turned it into a Trader Joe's, but it was called the Pride on Capitol Hill. And man, what an experience it was. And absolutely, I hear that echo of what she stated in the 80s that was needed in the school system, in the very environments that we're in today as advocates in the educational system here in DC. We're saying that we know what's best for our children, but you guys are not giving us access to the resources that we need in order to make those things happen. And how dare you, with that onus of not giving us the things that we need intentionally, tell us that we're now intentionally living in school to prison pipeline factories and all of these different deficits when you're not giving us the things that we're telling you we need in order to heal our communities after you intentionally polluted and fragmented it. My bad. I just went into a full-on rant. Seeing her got me inspired, but man, yeah, same thing today in 2025, from the 80s to today. Same plight, same plea, from the principal to the parents. And it's not just DC. That's the other thing that I want people to remember about why you see us on here. We're not just filling space on a Sunday. We're here to tell you that if it can happen in the nation's capital, it can happen anywhere. So we're just telling you our story because we don't have a lot of power here. Even though we're the most powerful little city around by name, we as the residents, the citizens of the District of Columbia, do not have power to even have the autonomy to be able to say what kind of money goes into different spaces that's going to help our communities as a whole, not just certain entities of interest. Marcia said, didn't you know who she was? I remember seeing her in 1982 when I spent the summer in DC, in an encampment for citizenship program. We met a lot of activists then. I was inspired. I had no doubt that that was a powerful moment, Marcia. As me, as a child, still remember her now in my 40s. So I'm glad that we can share on that same experience with Princess Whitfield. She was an amazing woman.
Well, I remember you went to Hines. I couldn't remember if it was Hines or Hobson at the time, but I remember, wasn't Hines on literally Pennsylvania Avenue when she was there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
My son-in-law, he's way younger. As a matter of fact, he's your age. Y'all might have went to school together at the same time. And a lot of people love that school because of her being there. But you didn't go on no rant. You basically talked about the thing. What is she saying we need? Yes, we need money, but she still talked about needing supports in the school, and we're still fighting for this. In 2025, we're still asking you, can you please get us the support in school? And we still don't have it. 65% of our schools are missing nurses, full-time nurses, mental supports, you name it, they don't have it. So especially in the climate we're in. So this one last lady I'm gonna put on, and then there's another part I'll put on. But this lady, I really want you to hear. I don't know if you know who she is. Like, I've seen her before, but I don't really know her background, Yogi G. So you might know her more than me. I've seen her, but I do not know her, meaning to know the history of her. But I've seen her on a lot of commentary because she's very bright. So I'm gonna add her to the stage and listen to what she says.
Word.
That the program has gone on for such a long time, talking at the level of the symptom and not talking about the disease itself. But I give you credit because you started out the program talking about the Kerner Commission report. And that was 20 years ago. And President Johnson's report on violence, no less, that the number one cause of violence was racism. And racism is the major problem in this area of the world. It's a major problem on the planet. And yet we have a perfect example in microcosm right here on this program, how we have high government officials who are supposed to know about what's going on, but there was steadfast avoidance of this most critical issue. And as a psychiatrist, I do know that people often avoid, truth is painful. And we don't like to talk about racism. It reminds me of Nazi Germany, because people didn't like to talk about anti-Semitism. Freud couldn't talk about anti-Semitism. So 6 million people who were considered not to be white people, the term Semite means mulatto, and those people were removed because it was a white supremacy system, it was racism, and there was a subconscious attitude about destroying and removing these people.
I'll tell you what, let's take a break. I'm going to come back to you because I'd like to have you explain, folks, that... Surprised, if not shocked, to hear it put in such extreme terms.
Well, let me say this, that 6 million Jews were killed, and it was a plan to kill them. There was a Wannsee conference in Germany where officials sat down at a conference table and planned to kill 11 million. The Semites of the Jewish religion did not believe that anybody would do that to them. And when people begin to talk about something is being planned to destroy us, I suppose then also that people said, oh, that's a conspiracy, nobody would do it.
Are you seriously suggesting that there is a comparable plan in the United States today? Are you really?
See, wait a minute, we have to see the thing that we're not doing and the thing that we are constantly avoiding is talking about racism. Now, let me tell you what I understand racism to be. Racism is a behavior system that is organized because white people are a minority on the planet. They are a tiny minority of the world's people. The black, brown, red, and yellow people are the world majority. That's right. Not only that, white people are genetic recessive in terms of skin coloration. You see, somebody like whose skin is white, if they have sexual relations with a black person, the product is colored. And there is the fear of white genetic annihilation. It existed in Europe, it existed in Germany, it exists here today. And this is why people, I mean, it's written about in the Washington Post, in the New York Times, in the Washington Times, when there are discussions that go on like this by year 2080. The majority people in this area of the world are going to be the blacks, the Hispanics, and the Asians. Oh my, we must do something about it.
Mr. Cobb.
Now, you see, it's the same discussion that goes on in South Africa.
Let this gentleman respond.
But let me just say, finish this
Well,
quickly,
I mean,
and then I'll
you've
sit
had a
back.
good long run, but so
Let me just say this: that if we understand the white fear of genetic annihilation, which was why Willie Horton could be used as a very profound symbol by the Republican Party to win its election, then we will understand what is happening to the black male in this society. The black male is the threat to white genetic annihilation. And so he is profoundly attacked in this society. And if we begin to understand that, we understand what happens to the black family. If you remove the father, then the son is wandering around confused, doesn't know what to do, will get together in a gang and ends up being depressed, getting on drugs and going to prison. And in the United States, in Washington, D.C., I believe we have the second highest incarceration rate, second only to South Africa. And so in South Africa, you have black men in the work camps and the women on the Bantu stands. And here we have the black men in prison and the women in the projects and the male children going unfathered. Now, I say that racism is responsible.
okay, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Koppel.
What's your thoughts, Yogi G?
Man, tell as old as time. People get uncomfortable when you tell the truth, and that we are divided by racism and the brutality that has come with that, especially when it comes to black people. And I'm with Marcia, who put it in the chat, but she said, talk about racism, you'll be accused of playing the race card. Oh, well, that's the game that's being played. No lies detected. And then shout out to Carla, our good friend here who fights alongside us in the educational space. She's in the chat, and she helped us out by making sure that we had a name for this prolific thinker, per Carla's words, Frances Cress Wessling, Howard U. professor and author. So I can imagine if she's an author, we need to get with some of her books on this book list, because she was speaking truth to power and facts.
I'm glad I got the other last name because Crest kept pulling up, and I've been researching her. But I'm glad that Carla is on here and actually told us that she is from Howard, so we can find her even better. But this last part, so I was telling Mickey earlier, I said, I am tired of like what's going on in DC, but I will be honest. I'm really tired of seeing the National Guard kind of like walking around the community in which I live. And it's annoying, right? It's not saying that they're doing anything to us, but it just gives you the vibe of that we're not safe, right? So that's why they're there and they need to be here. But this guy in this video says something that I don't understand why this is going on now when this guy specifically says what he says. I just want to put this last part and then we can go back into our thoughts. Give me 1 second.
Word. I just wanted to let you know that Yvette has just tapped into the chat. We appreciate you as well. This is another one of our wonderful good friends who fights alongside us in the educational space and beyond. She's an amazing woman. But she says, yes, just joined, but she authored the ISIS paper. So if you need a starting point for Professor, let me make sure I go back, Frances Cress Wessling, A10 chat, then you can start with researching the ISIS papers. And Marcia coming through. Dr. Frances Cress, for those in this chat. There you go. Thank you, Marcia.
Yeah, thank you. You just, but let me play this one part and then we could go
to
with
people like Police Chief Turner and to the mayor and to local, county, state, and federal officials.
When you talk about support, are you talking about personnel? Are you talking about what kind of support?
Personnel and equipment. We have 3,500 fine citizen soldiers, citizen airmen of the District of Columbia National Guard. Those particular people, along with the 600,000 National Guard people we have in 4,000 communities, would be involved in helping support local authorities in any way they need, either in transportation of drug officials, transportation of law enforcement people, either in helping them with equipment, helping them with helicopter support, transportation support, inspection of cargo, as we're doing today in Florida and along the Texas border of cargo that's coming in, and also to loan them equipment. And that's the role that we hope to play, is strictly a support role, because we are part of this community too, and part of the communities all over America.
All right, I wanted to make sure that you had a chance to make that point. Doctor, we wanted to get back to you because you were talking about, and so many people.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me rewind to the beginning of what he says. Let me see.
Conscious attitude about destroying and removing these people.
I'll tell you what, let's take a break. I'm going to come back to you because I'd like to have you explain, folks, that...
Thank God.
Hold on 1 second here. Major General John B. Conaway, who is Vice Chief of the National Guard. And the reason I'm introducing him is because, as you know, the suggestion has been made that maybe the National Guard ought to move in to the District of Columbia for the sake of helping with law enforcement. General, is that something that is even being considered by the National Guard?
No, it is not being considered by the Department of Defense or the National Guard. The National Guard and the military of this country are not here to be involved in law enforcement. That is for civil authorities to do. Our role that we're looking at, that Congress has authorized and appropriated $300 million to help with, is in pure support role. Support to people like Police Chief Turner and to the mayor and to local, county, state, and federal officials.
When you talk about support, are you talking about personnel? Are you talking about what kind of support?
Personnel and equipment. We have 3,500 fine citizen soldiers.
So what I was saying was what he said. They're not here. Back then, the National Guard is not supposed to be policing. And he says that. And this is back in 1980. In this whole entire conversation they had in this thing, there was literally 650,000 residents in DC at that time. And right now we currently have 700,000 residents. This is in 1980. We're in 2025. And all we increased was 50,000 people? I don't think so. So 650,000 people were in 1980, and we're at 700,000 now, 700,000 residents. And the same conversation that was happened back in 1980 is the same conversation we have now. Just your thoughts real quick, because before we get off here, we got 5 more minutes. What's your thought on that?
Man, listen, same playbook, different players, different generation. And that's all we want people to see when we bringing up these thoughts, that we're connecting as we doing our reading and our research with what's happening in our area. I do want to holler at the chat right quick to say Denise got us with a comment. She said it all. I have mixed sons. I am white. I have watched racism against them from both sides. I say to them, they are the best of both, but we really all came from black, good-looking, smart men. Okay. And then Yvette put in the chat extra resource for Dr. Francis Cress, which is the Cress theory of color confrontation and racism, white supremacy. So, you know, this 810 chat, we like to research and educate ourselves. So there's a little something for you to walk away as we close up shop for Just a Thought for the 2025.
So thank you for all of the people that were on here that like kind of helped with it. You know, I'm seeing a video, meeting some new people, heard of people, but looking up things and looking up names. It's good when you're community of people that are on your chat, or community of people you know, and be like, I know this person. They wrote this. They wrote that. So we got to keep this thing going with the conversation that helps all communities. And so even though this video is literally a town hall in DC, it's still just as good as if it was for Flint, if it was for Detroit, if it's for New York. Conversation is still happening. But I guess in the future we could start dropping books that we've been reading to kind of get people to kind of see more of the things that we're looking at, so they can learn from the perspective of what that person wrote. Because these are just our thoughts. Go ahead, Yogi. Oh, somebody put something.
Nah, it ain't. We're gonna let the chat be that and let Mick figure it out. But for the most part, we just want to say that these are, as Anna said, these are just our thoughts, and we come on here as being two people who are very indebted to our community, and we are raising children and next generation representation in this space. And so we come in here just to figure it out, just like the next person, and make sure that we all on one accord on seeking justice or power, whatever your banner is. And continue to tap into A10 News Media Group, and we'll continue to bring the news that you can use with some great thoughts. Marcia said, great info, Yogi, G, and Anna. Keep the info flowing and the book list growing. The knowledge is empowering us to greater thought processes. And we appreciate that, Marcia. We can't win them all, as you saw in the chat, or if you didn't, you ain't missed nothing. But definitely, it is a pleasure to be on A10 News Media Group, to be able to brainstorm and work alongside the good peoples like Mick and Brother Elliot, and and we hope that everybody remains safe and have a good closure to the 2025. We know it's been hectic. Y'all been holding us down. We were trying to figure it out here in DC since I feel like August 4th. I think that was when we got hit with the big boom of all the things that Anna is connecting us with today when it comes to the National Guard and how they're being misused here in DC. But as for me, I hope to see y'all in the next round of 2026. Same time, same bat station, here on 810 News Media Group at 7 p.m. on Sundays. And then maybe you'll see me on a pop up every now and then on the morning recall, because it's always a pleasure to get off the shit circuit and holler at the people in the space. So, Anna, we got one last minute and then we out of here. That's it. Word. Peace, people.